What's going on, guys? 24/7 Tech here. In this video, I'm going to be comparing the standard Dell XPS 13 and the 2-in-1 XPS 13. So the standard XPS 13 was last refreshed in CES of 2020, January 2020, before this whole pandemic went down. And the 2-in-1 XPS 13 was actually released over a year ago in August 2019. So it's been a while since that one came out, but it's still pretty good. And I'll talk about why it is later in this video. But I'm going to be comparing both of these laptops, even though there was just a few months in between them, like the gap. There are a few key differences, not just because it was delayed a little farther. It's just Dell decided to put some things into the XPS 13. They decided to put some other things into the XPS 13 2-in-1, and it kind of just came out like that. In this video, stay tuned for a detailed comparison in which I talk about, the display, design, performance, and even more categories. And for more awesome videos like this one, please subscribe down below. Every subscribe makes a huge difference. But for now, let's get on with the video. Let's talk about the design of both of these laptops. So the XPS 13 and the XPS 13 2-in-1 have one major difference, in that the XPS 13 2-in-1 can flip around and it has a 360-degree hinge, so you can use it as a tablet with the keyboard kind of folded back. That's the whole point of the XPS 13 2-in-1, and that's what you're going to be paying for extra. The normal XPS 13 can't do that. It just goes back to what the kind of normal viewing angles that you can do. The rest of the design is pretty much identical. The bottom bezel is a little bit thicker maybe on the XPS 13 2-in-1. The hinge is different, and that's to accommodate that 2-in-1 mechanism. But the keyboard, the trackpad, the carbon fiber, the colors, the aluminum finish on the front, they're all the same, and that's a good thing, honestly, because the design of the XPS 13s are really good. I really like it, and the white color is my favorite. I really like that white color, and I have that for my own XPS 13 as well. The display also has a few different changes from the standard XPS 13 to the XPS 13 2-in-1. So the first thing is there's a touchscreen standard on the XPS 13 2-in-1, because if you flipped it around, how else would you use it as a tablet? They kind of have to give you the touchscreen standard, whereas on the XPS 13 you have to pay an extra $100 for that feature, which is honestly a lot. XPSs have always been pretty good for making kind of fairly priced upgrades and not too expensive. Like for $50 you can get 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is a great deal, by the way. But $100 for a touchscreen, this is one thing that Dell I feel like they overpriced. The display resolution itself is actually the same. It's identical on both models. They both have a 1080p or a 4K option. The 4K option has a much better display, of course, a much better panel, but it drains battery life, and the 1080p is the exact opposite of that. It has much better battery life, but it's not the same panel as the 4K. And as I said in the design category, the XPS 13 2-in-1 can flip around, it can rotate 360 degrees, which is why I got the name XPS 13 2-in-1. As I said previously in this video, guys, please subscribe down below. A subscriber makes a huge difference. I need all the help that I can get from you guys. I need all the support to grow my channel. You can go follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well. I create behind the scenes content on there, and I also post live tech updates, so you can go follow me over there as well. Go check out my articles at the link medium.com/247tech. I write awesome articles about the latest technologies, just like these XPS 13s. Let's talk about the performance of both of these laptops. So you can get 3 different processors, a dual-core i3 or a quad-core i5 or an i7 option. Go for the quad-core processor in any laptop if you buy today in 2020, and if you pay a sizable sum for it, get that quad-core processor. It's a much better processor. It'll last you much longer down the road, and it's just better, snappier, and quicker, and you'll definitely notice the difference. Get that i5 or i7. As for the graphics, there are 2 types, the Intel UHD graphics and the Iris Plus. To get that Iris Plus graphics, you need to shell out quite a bit of money, like $1,500 is what I'm looking at right now, and that's a lot of money to spend for the Iris Plus graphics. The UHD graphics are pretty bad compared to the Iris Plus. The Iris Plus are probably double the performance, and that's one thing that I applaud Intel for. Their GPU performance, even though they're integrated, have been a much better step up to the Iris Plus G7 graphics. And with their new XE graphics in the 11th gen processors, these are probably going to be great. If you can, always get that Iris Plus graphics, but if you are on a tighter budget, the UHD graphics might be fine if you're not doing any sort of, gaming or photo editing or video editing or any of that type of stuff. Let's talk about other differences on these 2 models. So first of all, the standard XPS 13 has an upgradable SSD, which is a cool feature, to be honest. Do 56 gigabytes. If that's not enough down the road, just up it up to 512. Buy your own SSD, put it in there. Even though it's going to cost more money, that's a great way to just add SSD instead of buying a whole new laptop to get more storage. Or you could just, use an external hard drive. The weight itself on the XPS 13 2-in-1 is actually quite a bit more. It's at 2.9 pounds, which is I know, it's pretty light. But the XPS 13 standard one, it's only 2.65 pounds, which is honestly insane. I mean, the Surface Laptop 3 is 2.7 pounds, MacBook Air is 2.7 pounds, and this is 2.65 pounds. These laptops are so light, but the 2-in-1 is going to be a little bit more heavier, and it's probably because of that hinge and kind of to weight balance it since for that 2-in-1 design. The standard XPS 13 also has Windows Hello like face recognition, and it also has a traditional fingerprint scanner as well. You can pick which one you want to use, whereas the XPS 13 2-in-1 only has that fingerprint scanner, does not have the Windows Hello feature, which is something you're losing, and I feel like that kind of face unlock is really smooth. You don't need to put your finger on the fingerprint and that stuff. It's just, you look at it, it gets logged in. It's a great feature to have. Let's discuss the pricing of both of these laptops, since that's kind of the biggest deal, since you're gonna have to pay for it. So I picked a configuration which was kind of in the low to mid end. It's got 8 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage, Intel Iris UHD graphics, and it's also got a quad-core i5. The quad-core i5 is a necessity no matter what. And for the standard XPS 13, that's going to cost you a hair under $1,000 at $980, which is a really fair price to get a quad-core processor, an amazing design, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage. That's a great price. The 2-in-1 XPS 13 will actually cost you $1,229 for the same thing, so pretty much $250 more than the standard XPS 13. What are you getting for that $250? That 2-in-1 display, a standard touchscreen, and nothing else. The XPS 13 also has its own advantages, being lighter. It's got being lighter, and it also has kind of a thinner bezel on the bottom of the display, which is not a huge difference, but it makes a difference. You know, it's got a few minor things that are even better on that. So in spending $250, really think if you're gonna use that 2-in-1 option, that's something that you have to make sure you're gonna utilize, or it's just a waste of spending $250, whereas you can go and buy something else using that money. So what's my verdict? Which laptop should you buy? Price is a huge thing. If you're gonna save $250 and you're, not someone who's gonna use that 2-in-1 features, or you don't need that bendable display or a touchscreen or anything, get the standard XPS 13. You can spend that $250 on something else. Buy a budget iPad. I mean, you can buy the 10.2-inch iPad for $250. If you really do want that tablet experience, go and get that instead of wasting the money on a 2-in-1 XPS 13, which you're probably not going to use anyways. The XPS 13 2-in-1 is, I don't really see a market for it, in my opinion. If you want the XPS 13, the standard one is the best. If you really want that 2-in-1 design, don't even look at the XPS 13. Go to the Surface lineup. The Surface Pro 7 and the Surface Pro X are the best Windows 2-in-1s that I know of. Since you can use it as an actual tablet, you can use it with a stylus, a keyboard. It's a much more polished 2-in-1 experience than the standard, the XPS 13 2-in-1. Price is also a huge thing, If you're going to be saving $250, that's a large sum. If you do really want that touchscreen, it's a $100 upgrade, as I did say. Still, $150, that's a lot of money. You can go get Galaxy Buds Live for that. You can go get AirPods for that. You can go get maybe a budget pair of headphones, maybe a mid-range pair of headphones if you can find them on a deal. There's so many different things you can do with that money, and the 2-in-1 XPS 13, maybe if they bring the price down a little more, could make more sense, but just paying $250 for just not much more, It's mainly you're paying that for the 2-in-1 design and the touchscreen that you're getting. There are actually some things that the normal XPS 13 is better in, and one of the things being that, it's got a slightly thinner bottom bezel, and just a little more things in general. You don't need to buy a touchscreen on it if you don't really want it. There's just not a market, in my opinion, for that XPS 13 2-in-1. If you want a 2-in-1, go get some Surface product, or if you don't, get that XPS 13. It's a great laptop. It's got a great design, keyboard, trackpad, performance, graphics. I mean, it's a great laptop. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe down below. I need all the help that I can get from you guys, and do your part by subscribing to my channel if you do want to help me out, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya!